She stormed onto my driveway yelling, "You're stealing the neighborhood signal." And before I could answer, she was already on the phone screaming, "Send police now, he's hacking the HOA." I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I just looked at her as she slapped a bright red notice on my door saying my internet was illegal, use of shared property. Then, she smiled like she had already won. My kids were inside doing homework when a tow truck rolled past slow, like a warning. She pointed at my router through the window and said, "I run this place. You don't change anything without my permission." Minutes later, sirens cut through the air. She folded her arms and told everyone watching. I caught him red-handed. The cop stepped out, calm but alert, asking why a Wi-Fi change was an emergency. She jumped in fast, talking over me, saying I was a threat, saying I could shut down the whole block. I handed the officer my ID and said softly, "It's my network, on my land." She laughed loud and said, "Not anymore. HOA rules." The officer paused, looked at the notice on my door, then at the address. His radio crackled. Another patrol car pulled in. Her smile slipped just a little. I noticed her hand shake as she said, "Why do you need backup?" I leaned back against my truck and said the one thing that changed the air completely. "Before you do anything, officer, you should know this call is already being recorded." Her head snapped toward me. "Recorded? You're not allowed to record HOA matters," she said fast, like she was grabbing for control. One cop looked at the other. The second one asked me, "Recorded how?" I tapped my phone once, then pointed at the small black camera under my roof. "And that one. And the one in my truck." She stepped closer to the officer and whispered, loud enough for everyone to hear, "He's lying. He always causes trouble. He even changed the Wi-Fi. Named to mock the HOA." She pulled out her phone and showed them a screenshot. The network name said, "Private property, do not touch." Neighbors started coming out. Phones were up. She hated that. The first cop asked her calmly, "Do you have proof this Wi-Fi belongs to the HOA?" She waved a printed paper. No stamp. No signature. Just her name at the bottom. "I'm the HOA president," she said. "That's all the proof you need." Then the cop asked me a question she didn't expect. "Sir, who installed your internet?" I smiled a little. "County contractor. 5 years ago." Her face went tight. "That's impossible. This house was empty 5 years ago." I nodded. "Yeah, because I was deployed." The word hung there. Deployed. The second cop's tone changed. "Where?" "Overseas. Army." She jumped in again, louder now. "That doesn't matter. He still broke HOA rules. I already filed a report saying he threatened me." Both cops looked at her. "Threatened how?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. I pulled up a clip on my phone and said quietly, "You might want to watch this before you answer." The video played. Her voice filled the driveway, sharp and clear. "I'll have you arrested. I'll take your house. I know people." You could see her pointing at my kids through the window. The sound cut off right when she said, "Children don't make you untouchable." One of the neighbors gasped. Someone whispered, "That's messed up." The first cop stopped the video and looked at her. Did you file a report saying he threatened you?" She nodded fast. "Yes, because he did. He scared me." The cop's jaw tightened. "This video shows the opposite." She tried to laugh it off. "You don't understand HOA authority." That's when the tow truck driver stepped out of his truck, confused. She called me, told me to be ready to tow his vehicle for HOA violation." Both cops turned to her at the same time. "You authorized a tow before we arrived." She stuttered. "It's procedure." I spoke again, slow and calm. "That truck is registered to me. Plates are federal exempt." The second cop looked at the plate, then at me. "Federal? How?" I opened my wallet and showed a second ID. Not loud. Not proud. Just there. "I still consult for the county. Cybersecurity." Her face went pale. "That's fake." The cop shook his head. No, it's not. He turned to her and asked one simple question that hit harder than any shout. Do you want to explain why you reported a federal consultant for changing his own Wi-Fi? Or should I? She took a step back like the ground moved under her. I didn't know, she said, softer now. How would I know? The cop didn't raise his voice. That was worse. You didn't know, but you called 911. You filed a false report. You ordered a tow. And you put a notice on a home you don't own. She turned toward me, eyes wide, almost begging. Just tell them it's a mistake. We can fix this. I looked at my kids through the window again. My daughter was standing there, scared but trying to be brave. I said, You already fixed it. When you threatened my family. The second cop's radio crackled again. He listened, then nodded slowly. Dispatch confirmed. Property line shows no HOA control on this lot. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. I added one more thing, calm but sharp. Also, the Wi-Fi line you claimed was shared? It's buried on my land. I paid for it. I have the permit. I showed them the file on my phone. Dates, signatures, GPS marks. The tow truck driver shook his head. I'm not touching this. He climbed back into his truck. She snapped at him, desperate. You can't just leave. He replied without looking back. I can. And I am. The first cop turned back to her. At this point, you need to stop talking. She whispered, almost crying. I was just trying to keep order. I said the line that made every phone camera zoom in. You don't protect order by breaking the law. Her knees almost gave out when the cuffs came out. Wait. Arrest? For this. She said, voice cracking. Neighbors were fully out now. No one was on her side. Not one. The cop read it slow so everyone could hear. False police report. Abuse of emergency services. Impersonating authority. She shook her head again and again. I'm HOA president. You can't do this. The second cop answered without emotion. HOA doesn't outrank the law. She suddenly pointed at me like it was my fault. He planned this. He trapped me. I didn't react. I just handed the officer one more thing on my phone. There's more. It was another clip. Different day. Same woman. Telling another neighbor their car would be taken. Laughing. Saying, Call the cops, I dare you. They work with me. The crowd turned ugly fast. Someone shouted, You did this to me too. Another voice said, She threatened my mom. Her confidence shattered in seconds. She looked around like she was drowning. Please, turn the cameras off. The officer said, These aren't my cameras. Then a black SUV pulled up. County seal on the door. A man stepped out and walked straight to the cops. He nodded at me. Sorry I'm late. Her eyes locked on him. Who is that? I answered quietly. That's my wife. She laughed once, nervous and high. Your wife. The man stopped in front of her, pulled out a badge, and clipped it back to his belt. County Internal Affairs, he said. Then he turned to the cops. I'm here because my office got 3 complaints this morning, all from this street. Her face drained of color. That's not possible. My wife looked at me for half a second. Just enough. Then she faced her. You called 911 over Wi-Fi. You filed a false report. And you used my husband's kids to scare him. The neighbors went silent. Even the birds felt quiet. My wife continued, calm and sharp. Also, you told people the police work with you. She nodded to the body cams. That lie ends today. The first cop asked, Have you ever taken money or favors using your HOA position? Karen's mouth opened. No sound. That's when my wife said the line that broke her. We already pulled your HOA records. The audit started last week. Karen's eyes filled with tears. Please. I can resign. I'll apologize. I'll fix everything. My wife shook her head slowly. This isn't about fixing. It's about stopping. The cuffs clicked tighter. Cameras were everywhere now. As they walked her to the car, she turned back at me, voice shaking. All this. Because of Wi-Fi. I looked at my kids, then back at her. No, I said. Because you thought power was yours. The street didn't cheer. It didn't need to. The silence said enough. Karen was placed in the back seat, still talking, still trying to bargain with the air. My wife stayed behind, speaking quietly with the officers. Names were written down. Phones were checked. One neighbor showed a message where Karen demanded cash for rule exceptions. Another showed a fake fine notice. Each screen felt like another nail. Then one cop turned to me and said, "Sir, there's something else." He lowered his voice. The 911 call. She didn't just lie. She flagged you as a possible domestic threat. My chest tightened. That crossed a line. My wife looked up fast. You did what? Karen yelled from the car. I had to say something to make them come. The officer nodded. That means a deeper charge, and a review of every call she made as HOA. A neighbor whispered, "How many people did she do this to?" My wife's phone buzzed. She read the screen, then looked at me with that same calm look she uses when things are about to flip. "County just froze the HOA accounts," she said. "All of them." A man down the block let out a shaky laugh. "You mean, no more fines?" She answered, "No more abuse." As the patrol car door closed, Karen started crying hard now. Not loud, just broken. "Please, tell them to stop." I didn't move. The first cop said one last thing before driving off. "Sir, tomorrow morning, you might want to be home." I asked, "Why?" He paused, then said, "Because once this goes public, this street is going to change." The next morning, news vans lined the street like a parade. Cameras pointed at the same house where she once taped fake notices. Neighbors stood together, not scared anymore, just watching. The county released the report early. Fraud, fake authority, false police calls, years of it. Her name was everywhere. An officer walked up to me and handed me a paper. "Official notice," he said. "Your property is fully exempt. Always was." I nodded. I already knew. My kids stepped outside. My daughter asked, "Is she coming back?" I knelt and said, "No, she can't hurt anyone here again." Later that day, a temporary sign went up at the entrance of the street. No logo, no threats, just words. HOA suspended, county control. People clapped. Not loud, not wild, just real. That night, I changed my Wi-Fi name again. This time it said, "Free Land." Real law. And the line people kept sharing. The one that stuck everywhere was simple and true. I didn't change my Wi-Fi to fight power. I changed it to remind her she never had it. End the story.